it just feels like we're in a probably an accelerated timeline now. It's sort of AI 2.0 versus the chat bots that were all the rage a little while back. Like any big takeaways for you right now?
Well, I think that there's a number of things that I think are evolving out of all of this. Is one, I think companies are just in a state of wanting to adopt things as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Whether that's fear of, hey, I'm going to miss out on this great innovation, and wow, there's a solution that's going to really help teams within my business. But I think what that means for a lot of CISOs is, I think we're accepting more risk today than we have.
Yeah.
But I think that, a lot of CISOs are under the impression, as am I, that the benefits that come from AI, I think, outweigh, or the reason that, okay, why should I say no? Right? I think there are enough controls that we can put in place. Again, you're moving that risk to an acceptable level. How can I manage that risk effectively? And there are controls that you can put in place. The device that people are working on, the authentication methods that they've got, it's your data that they're working with. And then you have an enterprise application that you want them to use. You've got a license with it. Okay, if all of those things are there, great, let's go and allow them, right? Allow the business to go and use these things. I think once you start to get off that path of, okay, well, what happens if it's an unapproved application? What happens if, they're using not a managed device?
Yeah.
Right? What happens if it's data that is not allowed to go into an LLM
or a personal account?
That's when it starts to get challenging. And I think that, we're at this point where, okay, well, how do we get visibility into those things that are happening? And then how and where do we enable the control?
Yeah.
Right. So I think those are the challenging.
What do you think about I've plenty of conversations with companies who are still essentially saying, well, this AI thing's a bit scary, so we're going to default block, but we're rolling out Microsoft Copilot, everybody. Don't worry, here it is. That's our AI adoption strategy.
Yeah, I think that this is one of those technologies that's so pervasive across not just tech leaders and IT professionals, that kids are using it, my wife is using it.
Right.
It's like everyone is using it in all aspects of their life. People are booking holidays with it, right? Planning vacations and whatever it may be. That I think saying, oh, we're going to block it, right? I think is a little bit, I think it's a bit of a head in the sand, because I think if you're really, I don't think there is a way that you could actually block it outright. There's always going to be certain paths that people are going to go to get to it, whether it's a mobile device or, hey, maybe they pull data off your machine and use a personal machine. So have you actually increased the risk by blocking it?
Right.
Right. So,
because you're saying you're accepting more risk, but is that just inevitable, do you think, or you're making a conscious choice to live a little riskier for the benefit, or is there a?
Well, I think the accepted risk comes from the speed.
Yeah, pressure from the business, right? You got to go fast.
From the speed, it's like, okay, so let's just talk about, okay, a process that the AI applications are coming into our environment as a third party. Okay, so the process of understanding the risk presented by a third party is not just a CISO problem, right? There's legal, there's compliance, there's procurement, there's other elements to that. And I think that the vendor risk processes of old, where you could say, okay, go through all of these steps, go through these processes, is going to take 20 days. Like, the business just doesn't want that, right? So now we're having to move much faster. And so, okay, maybe, all of the steps in the process weren't finished, or we have to, okay, well, don't worry about that step, or don't worry about that step in the process, right? To enable the business to move faster. Unless you have some compensating controls on the back end of, okay, well, let's turn this on, but put some guardrails around it with the risks that we think are present with that usage of that application and the business processes associated with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that. I mean, I think you sort of touched on it. It's almost the consumerization of AI, right? Is because everyone's using it in their personal lives now. So they come into work. What's the expectation? Well, if they've got better tools and technology at home than they do in work, that's not great for the company, right? And then I get the FOMO as well, because if the fear quite rationally is, well, if we're not leaning in, then our competitors probably are, and like, what does that mean? It's like getting left behind, but it's also the employee experience, because do you want to work for a company that doesn't let you use AI? Obviously not. Like, the best people are going to want to use the latest tools, because they see their careers in front of them, and you've got to empower them, I think.
100%. I think that's spot on. Yeah, absolutely.
What are you using it for in your own day in life? Like, what's fun?
For me, the things that I use is really efficiency gains. So being able to connect it to my calendar and different document repositories, so I can pull down okay, what does my day look like? Right, give me what is an output for all of my meetings? Who's in it? What's the context? What's the agenda? If there isn't an agenda, suggest one. So I get that at the start of the day. I also have a threat intelligence update. So I want to be able to pull data and pull information based on technology that I have, any threats associated with either us or portfolio companies or technology where we're using, just so we can stay aware. So it's not that those things didn't exist before.
Yeah.
You could have probably made it happen, and there are solutions out there, various threat intelligence solutions, but this is more, okay, one, it's fun to build and you feel like a cool developer. And two, you can then, customize it a little bit more effectively, and you're more in control, like people feel.
Yeah.
But it's been fun to play with this stuff for sure.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I'm being a bunch of those types of things. Sometimes you used to have these wow moments with the technology as well. I think the latest, like Opus 4.6 and so on, there's been a few times where I'm like, that was pretty cool. So I did this trip planning exercise at the weekend. My own Claude co-work instance understands a lot about me and the family and preferences and likes and not, and so it was recommending various places to go on our itinerary. There's a restaurant that only has like 20 seats in it that we're trying to book months ahead, because my wife's a big foodie, and it was so it found the restaurant, realized it was email only, drafted the email for me. And the thing that blew me away, though, because that's all fairly normal, but it realized that the restaurant's in French Polynesia. So it started the email, bonjour, the draft email, finished it with like, merci beaucoup at the bottom.
And I was like, what? Like, did you send it, or did you put a human in the loop?
I only let it draft, so I'm a little careful. But that one, I genuinely didn't edit the email at all. It was so good, because I've given it my voice now, so it's trained to sound kind of like me. Yeah, got it to sound smarter than me, I think was it. Things like that. So it's just a few moments like that where you're like, wow, it's sort of it's taking it into account all kinds of stuff, right? It's
and I don't know what the outlook is, right, as to what's next.
Yeah.
Right. What's next for where this is going to go? I think the challenge that some people are having now, I think there's still a gap in understanding of how to use these tools effectively. Right. I think that from some of the usage data I've seen, we've got people using it as, okay, well, they're using it instead of Google, which is not an effective use of this. But I think people, there's a gap between the knowledge of, okay, what's the daily process? What's part of my workflow that I can effectively transition into, whether it be Claude Code and build an application, or whether it be creating an agent in something that's going to run on a daily task for me, or is going to be kickstarted if I say something in Slack.
Yep.
Or people just haven't figured out how to kind of convert their, historic process into an AI process.
Right.
And I think that's the gap that people still have today.
It is that because we're looking across this for tons of companies, I can say I think the majority of employees are now engaging and using it to some extent, right? But the vast majority are still using it as a chat bot, Google replacement, and it may be a back and forth conversationally, but that's about where it stops. And then there's a sort of 1 or 2% that are power users that are doing far more sophisticated things with it and setting up workflows and actually really getting into it.
It's almost like we need to kind of bring a kindergarten level attribute to the work environment with a bit of show and tell.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, oh, What have you been building with your AI chatbot?
I think it's people. I mean, just like companies, people have FOMO. I think, right? There's people, I know that they're trying to get up to speed really fast because they're worried about getting left behind. As soon as there's I think you got to find your change makers in the organization that are really savvy and have got it down. Use them to ignite it in everybody else. But I think it's so early in trying to roll out standardized playbooks for this stuff, because you wait another 3 months and all the tools are moving on again. So I think you got to chip away at it. I think.
And I think that's so difficult. And I think as I think about, okay, the tool du jour of whatever the latest and greatest is, and the number of times that we've changed on, okay, we're all looking at this or we're all looking at that, and the number of times that's changed over the last few months, we don't get rid of something. It's not one in, one out.
No.
So what we're essentially doing is bringing more and more
software.
Yes.
Right.
And what does that do? One, does it increase our attack surface?
Yeah.
Right. Two, what does that do from a hygiene perspective? Three, what does that do from a cost perspective? Right.
Yeah.
The number of licenses that are potentially going to go unused
Yes.
in the environment. So,
and that's the stuff about.
Whoa, yeah, that's exactly right. So, as we think about, okay, the change and the pace, the switching costs are so low, but no one's thought about, well, what's the implications of that, right? And what that's going to bring for, the hygiene in your environment and the other things you're going to have to deal with.
Plenty of stuff we talked about there. AI governance and control, though, major topic. Who owns it? Is it an accelerator? Is it a brake? How should we think about it?
Listen, first of all, I think from a governance perspective, you can only govern what you can see and what you can control. Without the visibility and without the control, you can't govern. Otherwise, you're just, there's no governance there, right? So for me, this is a huge opportunity for CISOs to be able to go back to the business with data around the assumptions that they're coming to us with when they want a new tool, a new process, to say, oh, we need this, we need something new, we need more licenses, we need this is what we're doing. Because you can go back to them and say, well, hang on. Well, really, like here's the adoption, here's what people are using, here's what's happening in the environment. And then we can also provide that to say, okay, well, are our controls effective, right, in being able to reduce risk associated with AI? But that all comes back down to data and having the information, having the visibility into what's going on in your environment. And that's the starting point. And then you have to understand, okay, what is the policy that we're going to have and lay that out, and then govern against it, given that visibility.
Makes sense to me.